Why your ears close on airplanes, and how your body fights the sky? Imagine you're sitting in your seat, the engines are roaring, and as the ground falls away, you feel it. That weird, tightening pressure deep inside your head. It's like the world is suddenly being heard through a thick layer of cotton, or like someone just placed a pair of invisible earmuffs over your ears. Then you swallow, you hear a sharp pop, and the world rushes back in. We've all been there. It's one of the most common yet slightly unnerving experiences of modern travel. We call it ear popping. But what's actually happening is a high-stakes battle between your body and the atmosphere. It's a struggle for balance that involves a tiny hidden valve in your head and the invisible weight of the air around us. Why does the sky try to crush your eardrums? And how does your body fight back against the physics of 30,000 feet? Let's explore right here on Simply Things. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're delving into the fascinating history and science behind a simple thing we usually only notice when it's making us uncomfortable. While we marvel at the jet engines and the wings that keep us aloft, the real story of how we survive the sky is woven through the smallest details of our own anatomy. To understand why your ears close, we first have to clear up a common misconception. The air around us isn't empty, it has weight. Right now at sea level, there are miles of air stacked on top of you, pressing down with about 14.7 pounds of force on every square inch of your body. We don't feel it because we're used to it and because the air pressure inside our bodies is perfectly matched to the air pressure outside. But as an airplane climbs, that balance is thrown into chaos. The higher you go, the thinner the air becomes, meaning there is less atmospheric pressure pushing against you. Even though airplane cabins are pressurized, they aren't kept at sea level pressure. They're usually set to the equivalent of being about 6,000 to 8,000 feet up a mountain. Now think of your eardrum. It's a thin, flexible membrane, not unlike the head of a drum, that separates your outer ear from your middle ear. For you to hear clearly, the pressure on both sides of that drum head needs to be equal. When the plane ascends and the cabin pressure drops, the air trapped inside your middle ear is suddenly at a higher pressure than the air in the cabin. That trapped air starts to push outward, stretching your eardrum and causing that familiar, muffled sensation. In a very literal sense, your ears are bloating from the inside out. The answer to this problem lies in a crucial piece of hardware you've probably never seen: the Eustachian tube. This is a tiny, narrow canal, about the size of a pencil lead, that connects your middle ear to the back of your throat. Its job is to act as a pressure relief valve. Most of the time, the Eustachian tube stays collapsed and closed, which prevents bacteria from your throat from wandering up into your ears. But when you swallow, yawn, or chew, tiny muscles in your throat pull that tube open for a split second. The pop you hear is actually the sound of air finally rushing through the tube to equalize the pressure. When you're going up, the air escapes out of your ear. When the plane is descending and the cabin pressure is increasing, your middle ear becomes a vacuum, and the pop is the sound of air being sucked back in to fill the void. It's a brilliant, simple mechanism, but it's not always perfect. As many of us know, if you have a cold or allergies, the lining of the Eustachian tube can become swollen or blocked with fluid. When that happens, the valve gets stuck. The pressure continues to build, the eardrum continues to stretch, and you end up with what doctors call ear barotrauma. It's the reason why babies often cry during takeoff and landing. Their Eustachian tubes are much smaller and more horizontal than in adults, making it much harder for them to clear the pressure manually. Throughout the history of aviation, we've come up with all sorts of tricks to help this process along. You've probably been offered gum or a lozenge by a flight attendant. This isn't just a nice gesture, it's a way to force you to swallow repeatedly, keeping those throat muscles active and those tubes opening. There's also the Valsalva maneuver, pinching your nose and blowing gently, which manually forces air up through the tubes. But even with our modern jets and sophisticated cabin systems, we're still at the mercy of this invisible rule of physics. We are creatures of the ground, and every time we take to the skies, our bodies have to perform a delicate, molecular-level balancing act just to keep us comfortable. The next time you're sitting on a flight and you feel that familiar pressure building, take a moment to appreciate that tiny hidden canal working behind the scenes. It's a reminder that even at 30,000 feet, Surrounded by the most advanced technology humanity has ever created, our comfort still depends on a simple, biological pop. It's a story of survival woven through the smallest details of the human frame. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next deep dive, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. And if you enjoyed this look at the invisible forces acting on your body, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a story. See you next time. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things to know. Stay tuned, because the world is full of stories just waiting to be told, one small detail at a time.